Irreconcilable differences. They're differences that can't be reconciled. Well, duh. That's what we're talking about on this episode of the Driving with Rob podcast. Irreconcilable differences. It's like a Jeopardy question. And the answer is irreconcilable differences. Why did you get divorced? Because apparently irreconcilable differences is a legitimate reason for divorce, a legitimate legal reason for getting a divorce. Irreconcilable differences. Well, aren't irreconcilable differences pretty much the reason you separate from anybody? We got divorced over irreconcilable differences. She wanted to date other men, and I thought it was a bad idea. And we just couldn't come to terms that was acceptable to both of us. So we split. Basically, the reason I left the company I used to work for was because of irreconcilable differences. They thought I should work until 2:30 in the morning, and I didn't think I should. But what got me started thinking about the irreconcilable differences, I saw some comments on Twitter that Kelly Clarkson, apparently on her TV show, announced that her and her husband were getting a divorce, and the reason cited was irreconcilable differences. Well, first of all, just let me say, I adore Kelly Clarkson. She was the first winner on American Idol. She's had a string of hit songs, very, very successful musical career. She's one of the judges on The Voice. She has her own TV show. I've been in love with Kelly Clarkson from the beginning, from the first time we ever saw her on American Idol. And she was married to the son, maybe they're still married, maybe it's not final yet, but she was married to the son of Reba McEntire. So that's almost like musical royalty. Two royal families coming together. But now she's getting divorced. And the only reason she gave was irreconcilable differences. And I was really disappointed to hear that she was getting a divorce. And I'm sure Kelly Clarkson could not care less whether or not I'm disappointed. But I was a little disappointed. Because she had done this song at the season finale of American Idol called Piece by Piece. Well, in this song, it tells the story about what an apparent piece of crap her father was, and how now she has a good man who will never leave me, who will take care of me because he loves me. So when I heard she was getting divorced, I was really disappointed, especially because of that song. Because it's a great song. It's a very sad song. It makes me cry every time I listen to it. Piece by piece. But she's getting divorced, and she called it irreconcilable differences. And that got me to thinking about just this general term, this general phrase, irreconcilable differences. There are differences that we can't reconcile. There is too much of a division between what I want and what she wants, and we can't come to an agreement that is acceptable to both of us. So we have irreconcilable differences. But you see, I happen to believe that there's no such thing. There are always going to be differences because people are different. You want different things than I want. They're not irreconcilable. One of us or both of us is going to have to compromise. That's the very nature and the very art of negotiation. I'm not going to give you everything you want. You're not going to give me everything I want. But if we can come to an agreement where you get some things, I get some things, we both have to give up some things, but we come to an agreement. But to me, irreconcilable differences means that one of you or both of you is not willing to compromise. You're not willing to negotiate. Because if you wanted to negotiate, then you could reconcile these differences. And I have also said in the past that whenever you cite irreconcilable differences, what that means is one or both of you is having an affair already, or you're at least taking applications. But that's kind of a mean and probably unfair statement to make. Because I'm sure, I have no doubt, where irreconcilable differences just meant that you fought all the time. Everything about him irritates her. Everything about her irritates him. Probably should have never gotten married in the first place. You got married when you were too young. You were still a little bit too wild. Hadn't sown all your wild oats yet. And after you grew up and matured a little and actually became the person you were going to be, you realized you have nothing in common. We don't want to stay together. Truth be told, we kind of hate each other. We have irreconcilable differences. But as I said, I don't believe there's such a thing as an irreconcilable difference. I believe any problem can be reconciled, but you have to be willing to do it. There is such a thing as an unwillingness to reconcile, an unwillingness to compromise, an unwillingness to negotiate, an unwillingness to save the marriage. So it's actually an unwillingness to reconcile, more so than irreconcilable differences. And that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for listening. Leave me a comment. Click on like. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Twitter. Tell your friends you need to listen to this guy. I'll talk to you next time. Bye now.